Hello, and welcome to ET Deep Dive, where we bring you the Economic Times best reported stories in audio. Today's episode is based on Vikas Dandekar and Rika Bhattacharya's report on how Chinese-origin cancer drugs brought to India through a growing web of India-China pharmaceutical partnerships are quietly dismantling the price wall that has long kept life-saving immunotherapy out of reach for most Indian patients. It's Sunday, the 10th of May. I'm Anirban Chaudhary. This is the Morning Brief. For Vijay Patil, a cancer specialist at Mumbai's PD Hinduja Hospital, it was just another painful day. A 72-year-old patient from Dahanu had come to him with advanced small cell lung cancer. The standard drug, marketed by a multinational company, was beyond the patient's reach. Patil was in an awkward position. But there was an alternative. He prescribed a newly approved lower-cost immunotherapy, developed in China and sold in India through a local partnership. Administered alongside chemotherapy, it delivered a strong clinical response within 4 cycles, Patil says. The patient has since transitioned to maintenance immunotherapy and remains stable. And Patil is not an exception. An increasing number of doctors across India are now treating cancer patients with a raft of latest generation drugs invented in Chinese labs, imported through tie-ups with Indian companies. Doctors see this as a quiet disruption. Chinese medicines, available at a fraction of the price, are filling gaps created by the exorbitant pricing of Western-origin immunotherapy drugs. The change, experts say, will enable better, more affordable treatment, improving adherence to long-term cancer care. Now, let's start with the cost crisis that made all of this necessary. Across economic strata in India, families are being pushed into what doctors called catastrophic financial toxicity. According to a study published in The Lancet, 34 to 84% of cancer patients in India incur catastrophic expenditure on their care. Government funding covers only a quarter to a third of treatment costs, resulting in massive out-of-pocket payments. Sunil Chopade, medical and hemato-oncologist at Mumbai's Jaslok Hospital, says 2 to 3 immunotherapy molecules have shown good results in studies in China, and they need to be adopted in India. Now, what are immunotherapy drugs? They train the body's own immune cells to identify, target, and kill cancer cells or tumors. These are currently approved in India for indications like solid tumors, lung cancers, nasopharyngeal cancer, and triple-negative breast cancer, says Chopade. The key driver behind this shift? As I said, cost. Western-origin immunotherapies such as nivolumab, sold as Opdivo or Opdita by Bristol-Myers Squibb, and pembrolizumab, sold as Keytruda by MSD, have historically been prohibitively expensive. What am I talking about? Keytruda can cost 1 to 2 lakh rupees per vial. Opdivo and Opdita, 50,000 to 1 lakh, depending on the dose. Multinationals do offer assistance programs and subsidized pricing to some patients based on income levels, but many are left out, and their families end in financial distress. There is some hope, of course, from locally produced biosimilars. Approved versions of patented biotech-based medicines. Nivolumab, branded Tishta, was recently launched by Zydus Life Sciences at a price 75% lower than Opdivo's. But due to high demand, patients say it is not widely available. Also, in the absence of viable alternatives, patients often fall prey to spurious cancer drugs that have penetrated hospital distribution chains. Others get hold of cheap medicines illegally imported from Bangladesh, not tested on Indian patients, not approved by regulatory agencies. It is in this scenario that Chinese drugs have lowered the price wall. They cost around 50,000 rupees per immunotherapy session. Not exactly cheap, but far more affordable than a Western medicine that costs 2 to 5 lakh rupees per session. Although there were initial apprehensions about quality, suitability, and adoption in Indian patients, oncologists like Chopade says the responses are good. The combined effect of Chinese origin therapies and Indian generics is already influencing treatment patterns. Otherwise, it is very difficult to offer a molecule costing 4 to 5 lakh per session, he says. So, which deals are actually making this happen? Last year, Ahmedabad-based Intas Pharma launched Hetronifly, that's serplulimab, licensed from China's Shanghai Henlius Biotech to treat advanced small cell lung cancer. In the same year, Glenmark licensed Tevimbra to treat lung cancer and esophageal squamous cell carcinoma. In 2023, Dr Reddy struck a deal with Shanghai Junshi Biosciences to sell Zitorvi or toripalimab for nasopharyngeal carcinoma. That deal covers 21 countries, including Brazil. Patil says these collaborations alongside Indian biosimilars have significantly increased the penetrability of immunotherapy in India. He says most one-year courses with MNC drugs are priced at around 10 lakh rupees even after patient assistance schemes. Otherwise, the cost would be 64 to 68 lakh. But now, Indian and Chinese-linked options bring this down to around 3.5 to 4.5 lakh rupees. He goes further. With low-dose strategies where patients are given infusions below the prescribed full dose, the cost can even come down to just 2 lakh rupees per year. He says that at low dose, one session can be about 12,000 rupees only. So this has become much more affordable. Patil and Kumar Prabhash, an oncologist at Mumbai's Tata Memorial Hospital, laid this out in a 2022 paper published in eCancer Medical Science. Fixed lower doses of checkpoint inhibitors, they argued, can act as a potentiator to standard chemotherapy. Basically, it means improving treatment response without requiring full dose regimens. The paper notes this is particularly relevant in low and middle income countries where some estimates suggest only 1 to 3% of patients who need immunotherapy are actually able to receive it. And just like Chopade, Patil also says any worries about the quality of Chinese drugs are misplaced. None of these drugs has a backdoor entry. All go through standard randomized phase 3 clinical trials. In terms of response rates, progression-free survival, and overall survival rates, they are similar to other immunotherapy agents. Naturally, the India-China combination has intensified over the last 3 years, and the logic is straightforward. Usually, Chinese biotech companies are focused on US and European markets for rich returns from an insurance-reimbursed payer model. But India's vast population offers something different, the advantage of volumes and a wealth of data for clinical development. For Indian firms that lagged in building a pipeline of innovative medicines, partnering with Chinese companies opens an additional stream of revenue. In fact, a senior executive from a leading Indian pharma company speaking on condition of anonymity says that in less than a decade, Chinese medicines will mostly replace US and European products. This is no longer just an Indian story. It's a global scramble. For over a decade, marquee names from Pfizer to GSK to Eli Lilly have been in a race to acquire drugs from agile and efficient Chinese biotechs, and it is not limited to cancer. A report in the South China Morning Post says Chinese firms signed 157 out-licensing deals worth $135.7 billion in 2025 compared to 94 deals worth $51.9 billion in 2024. The Chinese have the backing of deep research and a fast-tracked regulatory approval system. They need the marketing depth of Indian companies to reach patients. A shift towards Chinese medicines is evident across categories: peptides, oligonucleotides, and CAR T cell therapies. Neither the US nor Europe is a match for China. Last September, Glenmark signed a deal with Jiangsu Hengrui to secure exclusive rights for select markets including India to develop trastuzumab rezetecan, a breakthrough lung cancer drug. The deal exceeds $1 billion with an upfront payment of $18 million and staggered milestone payments and royalties. Now, trastuzumab rezetecan is what's called an antibody-drug conjugate or ADC. Think of it as a guided missile, a chemotherapy drug that kills the tumor combined with a monoclonal antibody that helps find those cancer cells. It is approved in China for lung cancer and awaiting review for breast cancer. If cleared for US and European markets, it will be pitted against Enhertu, a blockbuster developed by AstraZeneca and Daiichi Sankyo, which grossed about $5 billion in sales last year. Glenmark is among the first Indian companies to spot this opportunity at scale. In 2024, it signed a deal with Jiangsu Alphamab and 3D Medicines for envafolimab, an advanced cancer treatment for markets including India, West Asia, Africa, Russia, and Latin America. In 2025, a multi-country phase 3 clinical trial for that same drug in patients with a common type of lung cancer. In December, yet another deal with Jiangsu Hansoh that could cumulatively exceed $1 billion for the lung cancer drug aumolertinib. A Glenmark spokesperson sums it up. Our oncology strategy is anchored in one objective: expanding access to high-quality, differentiated cancer therapies for patients who need them the most. On the Chinese partnerships, he says, these are science-led partnerships where we evaluate each asset on the strength of its clinical data, differentiation, regulatory pathway, and potential to address unmet patients' needs. And it's not just Glenmark. Last February, Dr Reddy signed a deal with Shanghai Henlius to develop a biosimilar version of daratumumab, a highly prescribed monoclonal antibody for multiple myeloma. The deal covered US and European markets. In 2023, Mankind Pharma signed with Innovent Biologics for an immuno-oncology drug across several cancer types. And the partnerships are now spreading beyond oncology entirely. In December, Lupin announced a deal with Gan and Lee for bofanglutide, a twice-a-month injectable GLP-1 drug for diabetes and weight loss, a segment that has seen a surge in deal-making over the last 5 years. So, from a 72-year-old patient in Dahanu to billion-dollar deals in boardrooms, the India-China pharma axis is quietly reshaping who gets to live and how. That's it for today. You were listening to the latest episode of ET Deep Dive. It was reported by Vikas Dandekar and Rika Bhattacharya, sound designed by Indranil Bhattacharjee. Narrated for audio by me, Anirban Chaudhary. Keep listening to The Morning Brief wherever you get your podcasts. Stay tuned.